everyone, welcome to the Science Stuff. Today we're going to be learning about the equilibrium of rigid bodies. So what exactly is equilibrium? Well, let's find out. Equilibrium is defined as a condition in a system in which neither the state of motion nor its internal energy state changes with time. An object in equilibrium doesn't always have to be in rest. Now, when is a rigid body in equilibrium, or what are the conditions for a body to be in equilibrium? Well, one of the conditions is that the algebraic sum of all forces is zero. By this, we mean that the net force acting on that particular body is zero. For example, in the soccer ball given here, there is a downward gravitational force and the upward normal reaction force exerted by the ground. They both cancel each other out to make the ball appear at rest. Another condition is that the algebraic sum of all moments is zero. By this, we mean that the net torque is zero. Let's move on to the types of equilibrium. We have two types of equilibrium: static equilibrium and dynamic equilibrium. First, let's look at static equilibrium. Now, when a system of forces act on a body and the body retains its state of rest, the body is said to be in static equilibrium. Let's take this notebook here. It exerts a downward force on the table because of the gravitational force, but the normal reaction force exerts an upward force back on the book. Hence, the net force is zero. So we can say that the notebook is in static equilibrium. Another example is this dream catcher. The tension force here is equal to the gravitational force which is pulling it down, maintaining its state of rest. Now let's look at another system. Here we have a dice which is being pushed side by side by two hands. Now both of these forces are 20 newtons, hence the dice does not move. So because the net force is zero, we can also say that this system is in static equilibrium. Now what is dynamic equilibrium? Well, when a system of forces are acting on a body and the body remains in its uniform state of motion, the body is said to possess dynamic equilibrium. Dynamic equilibrium can be either translational or rotational. Let's look at translational equilibrium. Now, a body that is at rest or an object that is moving in a straight line at a constant velocity would be considered in translational equilibrium. For example, take a look at this car, which is moving slowly in the same speed and same direction. From this we can see that in translational equilibrium the speed is constant and velocity is constant and acceleration is zero. Now let's look at rotational equilibrium. A body in rotational equilibrium must either be in rest or rotation with constant angular velocity. Take a look at our globe here. We can see that the speed is constant but the velocity changes. Though the magnitude remains the same, the direction is constantly changing, hence the velocity also changes. The acceleration also changes as acceleration is a vector quantity. Now, let's look at the different states of equilibrium. There are three states: stable equilibrium, unstable equilibrium, and neutral equilibrium. First, let's take a look at stable equilibrium. A body is said to be in stable equilibrium if when it is given a slight displacement, it comes back to its original position as seen here. Here, we see that a hand gives this roly-poly doll a slight push, and the roly-poly doll, after moving a little, it comes back to its original place. Another example is a swing after you give it a slight push. It will eventually return back to its original state of static equilibrium. Hence, all of these systems are said to be in stable equilibrium. Now, let's take a look at neutral equilibrium. A body is said to be in neutral equilibrium if when it is given a slight displacement, it stays in the new place after the force is released. Now let's take a look at this example of a hand pushing a box on a grassy surface. We can see that as soon as the hand stops, the box stops. Hence, this box is in neutral equilibrium. Now, let's look at unstable equilibrium. A body is said to possess unstable equilibrium if, when it is given a slight displacement and released, it continues to move further from its original position. One good example is spinning tops. Another is Beyblades or pushing any object on a frictionless surface. You have now reached the end of this video. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you have a clearer understanding on what equilibrium is and the various states and types. Please like, share and subscribe, and comment down below on the topic you want me to do next or any suggestions you might have. And remember, you're watching The Science Stuff.